as you know, or may not know, I was without internet for a while, which is why I had to take a bit of a break off of YouTube. It's sorted now, but what I didn't expect was that solving that problem could lead me to something so good, I honestly don't think I'd go back to traditional home broadband. And surprisingly, that was not the only useful thing I found recently that I got completely wrong. So let me explain. First, the internet. So I knew about these little routers. In fact, when I was doing my videos about looking at different people's off-grid setups, some of them were using these, but even though they had no contract, no tie-in SIMs, they were still costing them like all around €40 a month, whereas this one is a fraction of the cost. I had already previously did a video and mentioned about these low-cost providers, Digi and Woo particularly. Were there others? There were, I can't remember, but anyway, I did a video about them, and several of you had told me that when your contracts came to an end with the big providers, you, after watching my video, you went over to those and you are really pleased that you are getting the same service, exactly what you need, for a fraction of the cost. So obviously what I've got is one of those low-cost SIMs along with one of these routers. So this is the setup. In case you don't know, this is a mobile router which you purchase yourself. I purchased this from Wharton. There's a beautiful bird of prey just out there, sorry. I purchased this from Wharton online. I'll put the link in the description to the one I got online, but obviously they do them in the shops. If you don't know, Wharton is like the electrical branch attached to Continente supermarket, so they're everywhere. So you get your mobile router, so that's just a one-off cost. This was like €50, and then you get your mobile SIM. And as I said, I already talked about those mobile SIMs. We're talking about Digi and Woo here today because they just do really low cost, no contract, no tie-in, cancel anytime SIMs. So that's where you're saving. Now you might think, why, you can just hotspot off your phone. The reason I ended up with this setup is because I did try and was planning on just hotspotting off my phone, but because this is a big, an old house, a renovation from an old house, it's got thick walls and the signal wasn't good enough. I mean, I could get a little bit of internet, maybe do a few emails, but I certainly couldn't watch YouTube videos and stuff without it buffing, and I certainly couldn't do all the heavy file downloading and uploading and sharing that I do. So that is why I needed to get this. The other reason why it just is not the same as just hotspotting off your phone, and why I say I would never go back to ordinary traditional broadband and just use this instead. One, obviously it's completely portable. The problem I had with paying for my home broadband for like well over a year, I had to carry on paying for it and I didn't need it anymore, but then I couldn't cancel, I couldn't transfer it because I moved to somewhere that already had Wi-Fi, yada yada. So one, it is totally flexible. Two, it is, obviously there's no contract, no tie-in. When I say flexible, I mean you can take it with you wherever you go. I don't use public Wi-Fi, and sometimes I go and work in the library, so I won't use the library internet, but I can take my little router, so it's wonderful. Another reason it is not the same as hotspotting off your phone is connectivity. It is so good. It just acts like normal Wi-Fi. When you hotspot off your phone, every time you close your laptop, then open it again, you have to reconnect. Every time you disconnect with your phone, you have to reconnect, or any device. Whereas this acts like your ordinary home Wi-Fi, whereas once you've connected your laptop, your iPad, your phone, every time you turn it on, as long as the Wi-Fi is on, which it is because it just sits in the corner plugged in like a modem, you turn on a device, it automatically connects. So I know you might think, oh, just connecting with a hotspot, that's no bother. It does get pretty old when you're constantly, opening and closing your laptop and using different devices. A friend of mine pointed out to me, so it's very funny because I didn't have no internet for a while, and then I got my internet, and one of the big providers, the internet went down in the area it was nearly all day. It was a long time. And my neighbours and friends got fed up with it, couldn't take it anymore, and I said, oh, you can come and use my Wi-Fi, and they did. And it was my friend that pointed out to me that is really good. There was 3 of us using the internet, 2 of us with more than one device, and as she pointed out, she said, we're all doing really heavy use stuff here, and it's just coping just fine, and it only costs, I haven't mentioned this yet, have I, €7 a month. That is for 100 gigabytes, and I think Digimobile, their €7 a month SIM is unlimited data, and it really, some of them have restrictions and stuff that you've got to be careful of. Obviously I couldn't start up an internet cafe and just have completely unlimited data, but it really is unlimited. Their version of unlimited is enough. I've checked the contract and there's no dodgy, not giving you, all the data that it advertises. So really pleased with it. So €50 for the router, €7 a month for the SIM. And as I say, you could just have the SIM in your phone and hotspot it, but this gives you the equivalent of a normal home router, broadband router. And trust me, I do heavy stuff on there. As I say, I transfer heavy files. Obviously, I've got my YouTube uploading, it copes. And as I said, when my friends around, it coped with. So there was 5 devices were connected and, being used. So those are the reasons why I can't imagine why I'd ever want to be locked in, tied in, restricted with ordinary traditional kind of broadband from the big players anymore. I just can't fault it. It's just absolutely brilliant. And as I said, if I didn't have the problems I was having, I would have ended up just hotspotting off my phone, and I wouldn't have discovered it. So great. Oh, I forgot to say, the reason I chose Woo over Digi for my SIM, one was because their sign-up process is just so much easier. You just give your name, your address, your payment method, your NIF, and it turns up in the post a few days later. Digi wanted you to upload a ID, and it's just a little bit more cumbersome. 2 is because, you have those sites that tell you about mobile phone coverage. Woo had a better coverage because they are part of NOS. It is NOS, isn't it? NOS. So they have better coverage, apparently, according to these websites that tell you about coverage. They were the only 2 reasons really why I chose Woo over Digi, but I do know people that have Digi and are very pleased, and they are around the same price. Although saying that, Digi's cheapest SIM is €7, was unlimited data. Woo is 100 gigabytes of data per month, but that's plenty. And both of them are no tie-in, no contract, cancel anytime. Can't recommend them enough. So the other really useful thing I have discovered recently that I got completely wrong and didn't even, I wish I'd started using it sooner. So in a previous video, I talked about decluttering. So I have lost, or I will be losing, the storage place where I keep my stuff, which I need. I mean, I know I talked about decluttering and getting rid of things, but there are things that I still need and will need that I'm not getting rid of just to buy again, because they will definitely be needed in the future. So, but I've just been getting rid of as much as I can. Obviously some things I will need to buy again, but yeah, I've just been reducing the load a bit, because I still don't know where I'm going to store my stuff yet, because it can't all come around with me in the car. But anyway, so I have been using Vinted and Wallapop to sell stuff. For one, I didn't know Vinted was so heavily used here in Portugal. For two, I thought of Vinted really just for clothes, but it is literally like a replacement for eBay. It actually reminds me of eBay back in the day, because it's not just clothes, and it has been brilliant. Let me tell you why. So I've sold some big items. My bike. I sold my bike, and obviously I put it on Facebook Marketplace. I put it on OLX, and we all know what Facebook Marketplace is like. Just a load of time wasted. I don't know what it is about Facebook and Marketplace. I don't know what it is, but it is something else. Nothing but time wasters. I rarely sell things on Facebook. Rarely. I think I've sold one thing. Anyway, as I said, time wasters. Wallapop, I put the bike on, within a week, serious buyer, the person pays through the app, they come and pick it up, you scan a QR code, which proves that, gives you your proof that that person has picked it up. And then when they scan the QR code, Wallapop just put the money in your wallet, and then you can just withdraw it at any time. I don't know how they make money, because I certainly didn't pay as the seller. I got the exact amount I sold the bike for, was the exact amount I had access to. So don't know how it works, but it's brilliant. No haggling, no time wasters. I have just given so much stuff away, and just to think I could have sold it all on Vinted. And it's just really nice to see your wallet, see the balance in your wallet growing and growing for stuff that you would have just had to give away. So really good, really easy. The app does it all. You don't even need a printer for the postage labels. So just brilliant. One, earns you a little bit of, you get a bit of money back for your items. Two, when stuff's too good, you can't put it in the bin. So what do you do with it? Limited charities you have access to. But we've got a really good one here in Cantonese, and they don't just sell the stuff, they actually give the stuff directly to people in need. So it's really nice to know that I can give things to people that actually need them. So absolutely brilliant, highly recommend. The reason I use Vinted, the other good thing about Vinted here is in the UK, obviously you're just posting and selling to other people in the UK, but here I've rarely posted anything to Portugal. It's going to Spain, it's going to France, it's going to Italy, it's going to the Netherlands. So for me, I'm really tall, so any of my tall range clothing, that's all going to the Netherlands. So it is brilliant, just brilliant, and just really easy to use. So yes, I had never heard of Wallapop. My favourite AI told me about it when I asked about places for selling second-hand stuff. So just the difference between Vinted and Wallapop is Vinted is much more popular. Wallapop is a little bit slower for selling stuff. But Vinted, you can only post stuff. There isn't an option for people to collect things in person. Whereas Wallapop, you can turn off the delivery and postage setting and have items that are just for collection only. So yeah, but I think a bit less used here in Portugal, but yeah, another option. Absolutely brilliant. Chuffed to bits with both platforms. You can use them on desktop or an app, and highly recommended.